what's up? Welcome back din sa ating channel dito sa Mobs TV. Alright, so tayo nagbabalik muli mga babayan. Pero syempre, bago ang lahat, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, at comment dyan sa comment section. At syempre, maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga patuloy na nakasuporta dito sa ating channel, sa mga subscribers natin. Shoutouts po sa inyo.
What do you think of this decision by the Senate to archive the articles of impeachment?
Ako, Christian, to be honest, anticipated ko ito. Especially when the Supreme Court issued its decision dismissing the impeachment complaint and declaring the same as unconstitutional. As early as February 5, 2025, nakita na natin to, the stand of most of the senators who voted for the dismissal last night, no? So, to be honest, this is no surprise to me, and I believe even for the rest of the prosecutors from the House of Representatives.
But you are not surprised, but do you think they made the right decision here given the fact na meron pa pong motion for reconsideration filed by the House at hindi pa po ito inaaksyonan ng Korte Suprema?
Well, with all due respect sa kanila, but we maintain our position that the House of Representatives did not violate any provision of our Constitution, particularly the one-year prohibition rule. And considering as well that we have a pending motion for reconsideration with the Supreme Court, and this is still to be decided upon by the Supreme Court, we maintain our position na sana dapat hinintay na lang kung ano ang magiging desisyon ng Supreme Court. We honestly believe that in our motion for reconsideration, we completely addressed all we believe as differences in facts, differences in arguments, and we stay hopeful that the Supreme Court will be enlightened and hopefully will find reasons to modify or even reverse its decision. So, with all due respect sa kanila, it is our humble submission na sana hinintay na lang ang decision ng Supreme Court on the motion for reconsideration filed by the House of Representatives.
Ano po bang tamang understanding, no? Kasi initially, the move by your former colleague dyan po sa House, si now Senator Rodante Marcoleta, outright dismissal, again, citing the Supreme Court decision. Pero medyo kinamada ito ni Alan Peter Cayetano. I don't know whether that's the right term, no? Inamend, ang ginamit nilang term archive. Ang gusto naman ni Tito Soto, the minority leader, hindi, i-table yung motion ni Rodante Marcoleta. But with this final decision by the Senate, yung archiving, ano po ba ibig sabihin nun? Patay po ba o buhay pa kahit papano itong impeachment complaint?
Well, pag-archive, ibig sabihin, the case is no longer active. And if there will be reason to take up again the same impeachment complaint, the remedy will be the motion to revive. To sa motion to revive, definitely, kung pinagdebatehan yung motion to archive, this will solicit again uphill debate among the members of the Senate, no? Kung anong difference nito about the motion to dismiss. Sa motion to dismiss naman, totally disregarded na yung impeachment complaint, and the proper remedy will be the refiling of the impeachment complaint. So,
Okay.
For the clarity of our viewers, Christian, no? Doon sa motion to archive, temporarily, naging inactive yung kaso. Kung gusto mo ulit buhayin, the proper remedy will be motion to revive. Kapag motion to dismiss naman, totally disregarded na yung impeachment complaint. And the proper remedy will be refiling already of the impeachment complaint.
Okay. So, kung sakali po, no, hypothetically, kunwari nag-decide yung Supreme Court to reverse itself and grant the motion for reconsideration by the House, kung ang ginawa naman sa Senado ay dinismiss, ibig sabihin, kailangan i-refile po ito ng House. Ibig sabihin ba, dadaan yun muli sa proseso na itinakda ngayon ng Leonen decision?
You are correct on that, Christian, with reservation, of course, to the details of the modification if ever the Supreme Court will be modifying its own decision. No? Kasi the question is hypothetical, no? If the Supreme Court will be granting the motion for reconsideration, ibig sabihin, there will be some modification or even reversal. We have to know yet. Ano
Yeah.
ba yung magiging subject matter ng modification or reversal? But one thing is clear. Kung motion to dismiss ang grinant kagabi sa Senado, and the motion for reconsideration pending in the Supreme Court will be granted, the proper remedy will be refiling already of the impeachment complaint. And yes, we will be starting from step 1.
Ibig sabihin, magpipirmahan muli kayo yung 1/3 kung yun ang mode na pipiliin ninyo. E di parang inulit
I
lang
believe
impeachment
so.
process.
Yes, Christian, kasi we have to consider also na nasa 20th Congress na tayo ngayon, di ba? So, it is my humble belief na kakailanganin ulit ang signature ng at least 1/3 at kakailanganin ulit ang verification ng at least 1/3 of the members of the House.
Okay. But with this decision by the Senate to archive, ibig sabihin, relatively okay pa pala ito dun sa mga gusto talaga isuling impeachment process sa Senate dahil kung sakaling i-grant ng Supreme Court po yung motion for reconsideration ng House, pagbobotohan lang ng mga senador to revive it. Yun po.
In theories, it is mas okay kumpara sa dismissal. At least we have reason to believe that the impeachment complaint is still with the Senate, no? Kailangan lang ulit i-revive by way of motion to revive the same.
Okay. Yung isa po sa mga pinagdebatihan kagabi, actually si Senator Marcoleta, very very confident siya rito, no? Hindi naman ano yan, mare-reverse yan, unanimous eh. Tapos, yun nga, ang linaw nung sinabi, immediately executory. And then, yung ibang mga senador, sa pangunguna nila Senator Ontivero, sinasabi, hindi. There were occasions na nireverse ng Supreme Court yung kanilang ruling kahit na unanimous. Kayo po, bilang practicing lawyer, no? Talaga bang yun, napaka-improbable or even impossible for the Supreme Court to reverse itself on a case like this?
Well, let us be reminded, Christian, of the purpose of motion for reconsideration and even appeal. Kaya tayo merong ganitong mga remedies, MR, appeal, is because we are giving opportunity to the court to revisit its decision, to revisit its findings of fact, and to revisit its resolution of the conflicting arguments. So, I humbly believe na there's still hope for the Supreme Court to modify or to reverse its decision because that is the very purpose of the remedy of MR or appeal. At kagabi, narinig din natin si Senator Risa Ontiveros citing a lot of Supreme Court decisions na nagkaroon ng reversal of its own decision. Kaya we maintain our position that with our motion for reconsideration pending in the Supreme Court, we still have hope na pwede pang mabuhay ang impeachment complaint.
Pero nga po, bilang isang abogado, paano po ba yung dapat pagtingin doon? Pag sinabi ng Supreme Court na immediately executory, ibig sabihin ba nun, dapat gawin na ng concerned party yung pinagagawa ng Supreme Court? Or dapat intaying matapos yung proseso until madesisyonan po yung motion for reconsideration?
We are surrounded by varying views, Christian, pero my humble belief is that kailangan munang maging final ang decision before you can apply the immediately executory nature of the same. So, since my pending MR, the decision is not yet final and you cannot execute yet the same. So we have to wait until the Supreme Court resolves the motion for reconsideration. And it is only on such time that the same will reach its finality na pwede nating sabihin immediately executory.
Okay. Ito naman po, gusto kong kunin yung basa niyo po dun sa mga binanggit na dahilan ng maraming mga senador for voting to archive the impeachment complaint. Yung iba nga gusto nila outright dismissal. Pero yan ang naging desisyon, archiving. Yung iba, binabanggit lang talaga yung dapat daw tumalima sa desisyon ng Korte Suprema. But even that, diba, yung pinag-uusapan natin, pwedeng debatable pa yung immediately executory nature of that decision. Pero marami po sa mga senador nagbanggit din ng kanilang mga personal na opinion at banat mismo sa House of Representatives, no? Unahin ko na po yung napakahabang paliwanag ni Senate President Chiz Escudero sa kanyang boto. Sabi niya, bahagi po ng kanyang sinabi, "To the House of Representatives, I say, do not allow yourselves to be used for the blind hatred and ambition of a few. To these people, I say this, the Senate is not your playground to run after your political enemies." So basically, he reduced this issue of impeaching the Vice President to personal political vendetta, I suppose. Ano po ba ang sagot niyo ron?
Well, when we filed this impeachment complaint, Christian, no? With all candor, no one forced us to do so. No one requested us to do so. No one convinced us to do so. And certainly, we did not receive anything in exchange of the same. It is our honest belief that we have reason to file the impeachment complaint. And I believe that applies not only to me, to the prosecutors, but to the 215 members of the 19th Congress of the Philippines who signed the impeachment complaint, no? Ito naman sinasabi na namin noon pa, amid the allegations being imputed against the House of Representatives or to the members of the House, with all candor, wala pong pumilit, wala pong nakiusap, wala po kaming tinanggap in exchange of the same. And it is merely in compliance to the mandate of the Constitution, the House of Representatives having the exclusive power to initiate all impeachment complaints, no? Ever since we articulate that we do not politicize, this is not personal to us, and the filing of that impeachment complaint should be appreciated as compliance to the mandate of the sovereign people, no? Ito po'y tungkulin na iniatang sa mababang kapulungan sa House of Representatives at kasama po ito sa ating pinanumpaan. Christian.
Ipo, bilang bahagi ng House of Representatives, hindi ba parang insulto sa inyo yun at sa inyong kapulungan na i-reduce itong issue ng impeachment sa larangan ng politika na meron lang gustong bumawi o pigilan si Vice President Sara Duterte para makatakbo sa 2028, di ba? Which was articulated by Alan Peter Cayetano. I mean, given the seriousness or the gravity of the allegations contained in the articles of impeachment, this was how many of the senators characterized the impeachment complaint. Hindi ba nakaka-insulto sa inyo?
Well, let me respond to your question, Christian, this way, no? Kami naman lahat halal. The members of the House halal ng taong bayan. Ang mga senators, halal ng taong bayan. We will be judged by the Filipino people with respect to the actions and positions that we are taking today. In as far as we are concerned, we maintain our position. This is a constitutional duty. And we adhere to the letter and the spirit of the Constitution until the Supreme Court resolves our motion for reconsideration. In spite of the utterances made by some senators against the House of Representatives, alam namin what really happened, no? And with all candor, I will say it again. It is compliance to the mandate of the Constitution.
Isa pa po, no, yung binanggit naman ni Senator Amy, yung hindi ko alam kung pabiro o pailalim, no? Bakit hindi na lang daw yung speaker ang palitan?
Well,
How do you
it
respond to that?
depends on the members of the House of Representatives, Christian. And the last time I checked, the manifesto was signed by 287 members of the House, supporting the speakership of Congressman Martin Romualdez. And then during his election as such, 269 of us voted for him. I think this is a call that belongs exclusively to the members of the 20th Congress of the Philippines. We heard her loud and clear, no? Pero I believe that to this point in time, Speaker Martin really has the utmost trust and confidence of most of the supermajority of the members of the 20th Congress of the Philippines.
Pero nga po, what does that kind of statement, how does that reflect on the dynamics between the Senate and the House? Parang, panari lang, baliktarin natin. Kayo ba, can you imagine, sabihin nyo, ba't hindi na lang palitan yung Senate President kasi dinedelay naman yung impeachment process? Iniiba yung definition ng forthwith.
That
Clearly,
is why, Christian,
kabastusan yan, di ba? Pero bakit may ganun from the side of the Senate?
That is why, Christian, I wish to respond to all the questions with the guidance of the Constitution, no? Kasi mas maiging makita ng taong bayan na bagaman there are varying opinions, conflicting positions between the House and the Senate, mas enlightening siguro na ang discussion is guided by the existing laws and ultimately by the provisions of the Constitution, instead of highly politicized comments and utterances coming from both parties. Christian.
Okay. Speaking of the Constitution, which is very, very important, ano ba yung nakikita niyong parang implications kung hindi baliktarin ng Korte Suprema ang kanilang naging desisyon dito po sa impeachment case? For example, the additional requirements that they included if you choose that particular mode of impeaching a public official, yung 1/3 support from the entire House.
Well, basically, Christian, with the decision of the Supreme Court, no, if the motion for reconsideration will not be granted, the effect will be magiging mahirap mag-initiate ng impeachment complaint under the third mode, no? I always share this thought, Christian. Sa study of law, meron tayong tinatawag na statutory construction. How you interpret the law. And it is basic. When the law is clear, you should immediately apply it. No? When the law is not clear, you should interpret it. How do you interpret what you believe is an ambiguous provision of law? You should inquire into the intention and spirit of the law. We are so fortunate that the framers of the 1987 Constitution are still with us, talking with us, sharing their opinions, sharing their insights. I wish to believe, Christian, in terms of the intent and the spirit of the Constitution, bagaman I maintain that the Constitution is very clear, there's actually no need to interpret the same. But since there are varying opinions, I wish to submit, Christian, wala nang mas dudunong pa sa mga framers ng 1987 Constitution.
At
We've
saka
heard-
napakalinaw.
Yes?
Hindi po ba malinaw yung mo, di ba? Pag naka 1/3 at least, diretso, and trial shall forthwith proceed.
Yes. And in addition to that, Christian, ilang beses nating narinig si Attorney Christian Monsod